everybody, and welcome to my channel. This is Leslie. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm going to be scrapping a photo of my son like 2 years ago maybe, and we went to the Miracle Gardens and Butterfly Garden here in Dubai, and it's amazing. The Miracle Garden is really, it's a miracle. Everything's made out of flowers, so there's like a little village and the houses, and there's even a jumbo jet, and everything is made out of flowers. There's a little Burj Khalifa as well. This thing is made out of flowers and it is beautiful. So we usually go around springtime, which is about March, April every year, or I try to take the kids every year this time of year. And this was about 2 years ago. My sister-in-law came and visited, and we took her to the Miracle Garden and we took some really sweet photos. So that is what I'm going to be scrapping today. So I'm going to be scrapping lots with flowers, and the collection I'm using is from Webster's pages. It's called Love is in the Air, and this collection, it's got a lot of pattern papers, and they are quite eclectic. You get some you know, bold patterns, and then you get a very realistic flower pattern, and then you get a more cartoony flower pattern, and so there's lots, you know, there's lots going on in this collection. It does take some time to get used to the collection. It's not like regular, you know, where everything fits very nicely, although all the colors fit very nicely. It's just all the elements of the collection, to my opinion, don't really fit very well together, but I made it work in any case. So I'm just taking apart a 6x6 paper pad there that I have, and that is one of the Project Life, I think it's called High Five or some, I don't know, but it is a 6x6 paper pad with very generic patterns in it. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting the 6x6 paper pads, or the papers, up into 3x3 squares, and I'm just going to be using 2 squares out of each of those pattern papers, and I am going to be cutting out the words love you, or hello love, sorry, excuse me, hello love. And I'm not going to be making the letters exactly 3x3. I wanted them a bit more rectangular than square. So I am going to cut off quite a bit of that paper, the little square papers that I've got going there. But I'm trying to get all the, to place the patterns quite randomly around, and to get them very, well, sort of balanced. I didn't want the same pattern above or below, so or next to another pattern. So I'm going to try to get the patterns as random as I can, and you can see I'm very loosely cutting out the letters. I'm not even tracing the letters out onto the little 3x3 squares. I am just eyeballing it, and it turns out pretty well. I was quite surprised at how uniform they look in the end. So I was pretty happy with that, and I love the pop of red in the photo, and that sort of inspired me to use this collection with the red, and then obviously the darker colors in the background of the photo. So my whole layout is basically going to be centered around the letters that I cut out, the hello love. And if you are in a sticky spot with your scrapbooking and you're running out of ideas, use a big title like this on your page, because it kind of it fills your page, and it does all the thinking and the guesswork for you. If you don't want to use a big title or cut out words like this, you can always use a large cut file or large embellishments. And I have been struggling a little bit of late getting into my scrappy thing. I don't know what's going on with my head. And I've been doing that quite a lot lately. Bigger titles, big embellishments, big cut files, and that really helps to get the layout going. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking my white cardstock, and I am just making some stripes with my ink, and that's just plain black ink. And I let the ink run up and down. You see how I angled the page, and I'm just dabbing up the rest of the wet ink, and then I'm using my Heidi Swap Black Color Shine to just add some sprinkles. The ink was a bit, I can't get it right to splatter like the Heidi Swap Color Shine splatters, so I just use the Color Shine, and the Color Shine also obviously has a shine to it, so that worked out very well. It added a little bit of an extra something to the layout. So at this stage, I felt that I would stitch along the edges of the letters. So I'm backing the letters on some plain white cardstock, and I'm just going to cut around, a little border around each of the letters with the white cardstock. And I thought I would stitch around them with some white thread. I usually use the 3 strands. I divide the embroidery thread from the 6 strands to 3 strands, because it makes your thread last a bit longer, and it's also easier to stitch. If you're thinking of stitching, give that a go. However, if you want something more dramatic and bolder that gives a lot more texture and dimension to your layouts, I do suggest that you use all 6 strands of the embroidery thread, and then obviously you just need a little bit of a bigger needle for that. But saying all of that, that being said, I didn't do the stitching. I was lazy that day and I just didn't feel like stitching. So I am not going to stitch around them, but I am going to draw with a pen around the edges of the letters so that you can see them popping up a little bit more, because the background with those black lines that I made with the ink, they're very bold, and I needed these letters to stand out, to stand out from the background, the very bold background that I made. And it worked really well to just edge the letters in some black, and that was fine. So there's some little bubbles that were popping up on the ink, so I just had to let that dry a little bit more. I was too lazy to get out my heat gun, so I didn't, or my heat tool, whatever you want to call it. So I just let it dry, and while it was drying, I in any case outlined all of these letters with a pen that a very sweet lady in South Africa gave me. It was part of a care package she gave me when I met her in South Africa, and yes, that was very sweet of her. Thanks, Sandy. I know I've mentioned you before, but it's worth mentioning again how very generous in giving me my little care package. So I'm going to be matting my photo on one of the cut aparts from a cut apart sheet in this Webster's Pages collection. So that little piece that I've got there that I'm matting the photo on has some red in it, and I love the little red peeping out from behind the photo. So you see that I did gut the card. I did take out some of that butterfly. I did cut out the butterfly because I knew that I would use the butterfly in some other photos that I was going to scrap off this day, to use the butterflies. I know Emma, I've got a photo of Emma sitting on one of those chairs, and with the butterfly chairs. So I thought I could use all those butterflies for that chair. So I did pop up all these letters on some foam adhesive, and that's just to add a little bit of a shadow behind the letters, and also to add some dimension to the entire layout. I did want the letters to stand out from the background, because I said, the background is very stark and it's quite bold. So I wanted the letters to stand out a bit more. And you know what? I am going to add lots of flowers to this layout, and it is a photo of a boy, and I don't really mind that I am scrapping a photo of my son and adding loads and loads of flowers, and he loves this layout, so that's all that matters. And So yes, I'm not very gender specific when I scrap, or gender stereotypical, if you want to call it that. When I scrap, I've scrapped some pink and blues with all my kids, and now I've scrapped some flowers with the photo of my son. So I'm just going to be sticking those little flowers that I fussy cut at the beginning of the video from one of the pattern papers from the collection, and I'm just going to be adding them to the layout with some wet glue. I could have probably stuck them on some adhesive foam as well. I'm a bit stingy with my adhesive foam at the moment. It's like my white cardstock as well. I need to get some white cardstock, and I've bought all the white cardstock in all the shops there is in Dubai. There is no more white cardstock anywhere. So I'm going to have to order some online and get it shipped to Dubai. It's quite expensive to get things shipped here, especially paper, because it is heavy. So I've been trying to sort of last as long as I could with using as many different white cardstocks as I can. I've even been buying A3 paper pads and cutting up the papers, but they're not a total 12 by 12. It's like 11 3/4 inches. It's not a total 12 by 12 if you cut up an A3. And this is it. Thank you so much for stopping by today, and I see you again very soon. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, and please give this video a like. It really helps with the YouTube algorithms, and yeah, I'll see you again soon. Bye.